you feel?
Yeah, I feel there's better choices. If they want to keep bringing it, they're the ones playing for $325,000. So hopefully they have the reasons.
It's a terrible tank, and I just don't think it is.
Yeah. Its DPM, once again, its DPM's great. Its camo's good. That's about the only positives that it really has. It's not the quickest of the tanks. 140's faster. Its turret is pretty soft, as we saw earlier, and with the gun handling just being as bad as it is, I just don't think it's viable. So, meanwhile,
for a second here, I thought that eClipse was just going to go full ham and just try to close this out as fast as possible for that timer.
They can allow themselves a minute or two to set up and make sure they properly execute things before it needs to get to that point. However, Dark God Zim does get caught out here by Fulcrus.
Shots coming on, luckily bouncing that last one. But Dark God Zim is just about dead, and you want to talk about time, that's within the first minute of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And Fulcrus has one more, or no, he dropped his clip, so he is reloading, it looks like, or just did it now. So, even if Dark God Zim was counting shots, he has no way to know he's reloading. And only being a one-shotter, he's not going to want to stick his neck out. Tigers is going to start looking around, trying to find Fulcrus in the south there. The 113s 4 high have shifted down into the south, and they're just leaving the 1 Tier 9 Batchat up in the north. That Tier 9 Batchat cannot kill a 113 by itself. It only has 1800 potential in the clip. Could go higher if all the shots high roll, but the chances of that happening are few and far between.
We're seeing a very predominantly south play here so far from high. And it looks like, to be honest, from, listening to you and seeing how things have played out throughout the season, it looks like Eclipse is very well equipped to receive this.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're just trying to pick off Dark God Zim down there because that's one gun they won't have to deal with shooting them in their backs. They push up. It is a Tier 8. However, if you can avoid taking any damage at all, you want to do it.
Right.
However, they know that they can't sit there and waste too much more time trying to find that T-54 lightweight, so they are going to just mass up. And both Tier 9 Batchats have actually moved towards the north, and they are starting to make a play.
Oh, Tigers. Tigers needs to get out of there, and he does. Getting to the safer side on the other side of those buildings.
Now here's a question for you: is which tank do these Batchats go after? Do they go after Mort in the north, or do they shoot into the back of Master Pupil? They have to pick one because they can't kill both.
Yep, and a lot of damage has come onto Rude Awakening as there he goes. T1 Diametic going to finish him out in the 50B. Master Pupil is just about 2 shots away from death, depending on if it high rolls or not. And Ali the Persian dude is actually going to go for him in the ramp, but no, he gets tracked.
This is still looking good for Eclipse. Their High's Batchats in the north do have to reload, and the Mort is still alive, so he's going to be able to just pump out more shots into him. And at this point, he's just driving into the Batchats, eating the shells, trying to pump out what damage he can. He knows that they can't clip him out, so it's going to be a free kill.
There it is, just as you said. Mort going to take out Romstar and the Tier 9 Batchat. Ali the Persian dude trying to angle around the dead tank of Master Pupil, but he's going to be taken out by Ox Mathis as T1 Diabetic pushes around the corner, finding Magenta Panda and Vetro there to help. That tank is going to go down very quickly, and there it is, Magenta Panda falling to Vetro in the TVP. And now this is just up to Eclipse to clean it up properly. And although Dark God Zim goes down, the impact of that tank dying is absolutely minimal at this point.
And this first game is going to end in around 6 minutes. So if you average it out just based on one round, then High will outlast their previous
it's about 30 minutes.
24-minute best. So I guess you could call that improvement. Overall, not a big fan of the play. The Tier 9 Bats don't have enough alpha really in their clip to do a whole lot. Yes, they were able to help get Master Pupil down. However, the second one of them started firing at Master Pupil, that meant they didn't have enough shots to kill Mort in the north. And so at that point, Mort just has a free run of it. He can just do whatever he wants. He can push into him. He knows they couldn't kill him and got the free kill. And as I say it, Vetro picks up Fulcrus.
Very dominating fashion there from Eclipse. High, like you said, bringing the tier 9 Batchat, it didn't really help them as much as they would have wanted.
Yeah, and so it's just I don't get me wrong. I like the play. I think it's a decent play. You have most of your tanks down in the north, and you get 2 or 3 tanks up in the north, and you can kind of open it up. You can take control of the 6th line, and then you can try to move out from there. Leaves you in a pretty good position in the north as well. The problem is that making it 2 tier 9 Batchats, they don't really have enough alpha to kill multiple tanks. They could have killed that 113. However, then they would have left their tanks exposed in the south.
Yeah, but I mean, we do see here it's going to be Mort, Vetro, and Ox finding the bulk of the damage here. Just about 3k, all of them. Ox Mathis 2900 in the 215B, but they were set up really well, like I said, to receive that southern push from high, and they punished them incredibly well. Now, we did see Blue Mini in the Batchat Tier 9 actually do 2200 damage, which is only right under Fulcrus in the Batchat Tier 10 doing 24, but even still, the damage for the rest of high fell off quite drastically.
Yeah, well, and once again, the play is decent. I like having all those 113s grouped up there. They could have done a lot better. The problem is with those 2 Batchs in the north, and them opting not to kill that 113, it left the 113 ready there to just bully them out, essentially. He didn't have to care. He could just drive into them. And they took way too long to kill Master Pupil, who was keeping those 113s pinned and pumping out a lot of damage. So the combination of the two just didn't leave them with any options. They couldn't take control of the north, and they didn't free the tanks in the south.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden,
a bad situation.
Yeah, they're just stuck there with not a whole lot of options left. And looking at the lineups here, once again, we get to see the Scorpion G, this time out of eClipse. So the first time I believe we've seen them use it. However, High come in with a rather interesting lineup of their own. 2 113s, 3 50Bs, an IS-7, and a 1390.
Yeah, and eClipse is going to bring 4 113s, but then the 2 Batchats, and like you said, the Scorpion G.
Yeah, so I would expect right now eClipse to do their normal defense, run down, or not eClipse, but High to do their normal defense, use the 50Bs, sitting around C0, be ready to shoot the cross in the north, and just kind of hold passive. Meanwhile, eClipse just opting to send all of their tanks down the south, those 113s, and they're just going to leave Dark God Zim in that Scorpion G in the middle road here, or it looks like he even may go north a little bit. Nope, he's just going to sit there and watch down the F line, try to find some early damage, and as I say that, Vetro is just going to go flying out the middle road. And he will spot a majority of the tanks, however, he's not taking damage yet. Rude will come across here and find a shot in a second, but it doesn't connect.
Oh, okay.
And the positioning here out of eClipse is rather interesting. They're driving straight to the cap. They've left Dark God Zim in that Scorpion kind of isolated, while High have pushed Rude Awakening in that 113 straight into the middle road and up onto that ramp. And they are going to just...
Yeah, they're going to find shots on the Rude. There's something really interesting to note. By the way, Vetro was number 1 on damage before that last game we just saw between CD and Aquatic M60s. Vetro was first doing 163,000 damage, and on top of that, he was second for tanks destroyed, only to Canadian Impact at 75 for the season.
Interesting. And something to keep an eye on here. Oh, actually, it looks like Rude Awakening learned from the mistakes. He's actually chose to sit in the lower cubby here. Last match day versus Apex, Gerb showed us that there is actually an angle through the buildings in the north that you can find on the higher spot. However, with Rude choosing the south, or the lower spot, he's not vulnerable there, so good position.
Let's go and listen into Team High as Romstar is being taken out.
Hit for a lot of people.
Alright,
Romstar
and Rude just need to play safe.
Let's see if I can't poke anymore.
If Ollie can get some decent trades, then we're gonna be Gucci.
If we can light this bat in the back, me and Dendy can.
Has he shot all his shots yet?
Scorpion's 300 HP.
Scorpion needs to die really badly.
Reset.
Ollie, go for it.
Shit. More.
Romstar, go for it.
I won't even go to poke. The Scorpion will kill me. I mean, I can try. There you go.
Nice, you
Reset
got it.
happen. Focus on the Batchat.
Just watch this push. Kill the
Focus on the
enemies, watch
Batchat.
that push.
30% bat. 30% bat. We need help up here.
Rude, can you push out? Rude, push out. Rude, push out. I'll take the Scorpion.
Reset. I'm focusing Tigers.
Vetro fired one. Get the
I
reset.
got Zim, we just need one.
Yeah, reset.
No, we can't.
Ah!
Oh,
Clips.
no. We need help. It was so
I'm sorry, but no
desperate.
help is coming for High this
It
game.
was so desperate, that call for help. I gotta say, one of my favorite players in the league, and this is a little biased, is easily Blue Mini. That's just because I've played with him before. He's a really funny guy, but you could sense a lot of stress there from him. He's just like, look, anyone please get the reset. And Ali, the Persian dude, was actually able to find one, but unfortunately, because of the circumstances, the way that the tanks were set up, I forgot who it was who was really low. I think it was Romstar. He couldn't go over the the defilade to get another one.
They didn't have any solution to kill that Scorpion, and with Romstar being a one-shotter, he could have risked it for the reset.
Right.
However, he was hoping that someone else on his team was going to be able to find that reset and he could stay alive, because him going for that reset's guaranteed death. Now you have the argument, if he does it, if no one gets the reset, then him being alive or dead is irrelevant at that point. And that's often a conversation that pops up is, I'm going to die. Do I do this? And so he kind of was using this judgment of, well, I need to try to stay alive because I think some other guns could do it. And Ali, the Persian dude, was in a position to poke over, so he kind of just trusted Ali to get that done. And that one came out. However, what I like out of eClipse is once they had that cap really low, and even after that first cap reset came in, they just pushed into the village with the tanks they had up there. They said, all right, well, if you're going to sit here and shoot at cap, we're going to punish the rest of your tanks. And so they kept them distracted, and they were either going to win by damage or cap out. It was pretty much over at that point.
It was just a really rough situation that the High found themselves in, and that's just because eClipse played it so well, and they put them in that bad situation. They forced them into it.
Yeah, overall, I really like the play there out of eClipse. It's that they set up with a very standard offense, I want to call it, but they ran it very well. They took south control. They got those 113s on the cap. The Scorpion G in the town was completely unopposed, which is a perfect situation, especially for a tier 8 tank destroyer. It's not going to be good in those one-on-ones. It's just not its strong suit. Its DPM is not fantastic. However, it hits hard, and it has a pretty accurate gun. So a tank off on itself, where it's just completely ignored, Scorpion G is not a bad pick for it.
No, not at all. Well, that is going to be 2-0 in favor of eClipse as we head into the second map.
Muranka, a map with a great number of buildings, bushes and trees, amongst which teams hide for most of the battle. The attacking team begins the battle from the top of the village, and the defenders start from the bottom of the map. Both bases are better controlled from the hill near the first base, and from the green in the lower left corner of the map. There are many attack directions. The attacking team often attempts to gain the attention of defenders by putting pressure on the first base, whilst manoeuvring several tanks behind the second base to deliver fire into the defending's flank. Team setups are very diverse, but the players often choose the fastest tanks, even for heavy setups. They could even bring SPGs.
Something really quick to note before we go into lineups, it's been 13 minutes.
Yep, so they're halfway there, so we'll have to see if these rounds can end quicker or High will beat their record.
Right, and we've seen this before, actually. eClipse bringing in an E5, 4 bad chats, a grill, and then that Lorraine 155 Artie.
Yeah, so I do like that lineup on attack. Brings the artillery to help try to shoot through some of those heavy tanks, but leaves enough flexibility to get around. Meanwhile, High coming in there with a T-57 and E5, 2 bat chats, a Grill 15, and 2 Tier 9 bat chats.
Am I mistaken in saying there's a player missing right now for High?
No, that is correct. We are not hearing any calls for DC, so most likely what that was admin decision. They have a 60-second timer to ready up their tanks. And what happens is he didn't ready up when the timer was up, and our admin hit start, and if you're not in the battle, tough luck. And
that
High are now a tank down.
Unfavorable.
And let's see if we can figure out who it is. It appears to be Rude Awakening.
That sucks. There's just really no other way to say it. That sucks.
Hesitation that he didn't know exactly which tank he was supposed to be in. He thought he could ready up. Took too long for him to pick the right tank, and all of a sudden, High are down a tank, down 1,500 HP.
I gotta say something though. As much as that is, that does suck for a High. I gotta give a hats off to our admin for not catering and really just following and sticking to the program. I like that. We
actually haven't seen that this season.
No.
We saw it a couple times last season, actually. But
this season
it's been relatively clean. The teams have been good about it. However, that's how things go. You have that 60 seconds. When the 60 seconds up and the countdown runs out, battle starts. It's
not the admin's fault.
Yep. So, and that's just High continuing to handicap themselves, and
especially on this map. And they're on defense. This could have been their chance to really bring a round back.
Yeah, and now it is not the end of the world for High.
No.
As they have 2 Tier 9s, and
eClipse brought the Lorraine.
So it's not completely unfeasible. However, it does look like the Batchat in the north is going to get caught out here.
Some damage being transferred onto him.
It's Magenta
And
Panda.
that's Magenta Panda, yeah. Oh my goodness, shots being fired out, but Ox Mathis is actually the one that's taking the bulk of the damage here.
And
Down
just
he
like
goes.
that, this game isn't over. However, High are being punished for that push, especially by Tigers in the south in that Batchat.
So already High is at a severe, you would almost say, disadvantage. But the health totals, or excuse me, the HP pool totals doesn't really reflect that.
And someone here not counting for High, Tigers was able to empty all of his shots, and no one called it out. And so Blue Mini's staying passive in the south instead of chasing down Tigers, who's reloading right now.
Something else I just kind of want to point out that it was last match. I haven't heard anyone say we're Gucci in such a long time. So shots to Blue Mini and his calling.
Yeah, every caller has their own flair, their own style. Some are very serious, others are more loose like that.
Goodness, Vetro, he actually survives that last shot somehow, but Blue Mini is going to find it again.
High are actually looking decent despite being a man down.
Unbelievable.
They do find Ali the Persian dude. High are still up by about 800 HP though.
They're still in this, very much so. It's 4-on-4. I'm not even counting that Lorraine.
And the Romstar is going to come off of the clip.
Oh, what focus fire, though. Beautiful stuff.
They do catch out Romstar, and Eclipse aren't out of this yet, but they're still down on HP. They have one extra gun. However, that's Master Pupil that is about to go down. Blue Mini is reloading.
All right, let's listen into High.
This girl, one more on this girl, one more on this girl.
Can't put anything into the grill. Blue.
Blue,
Yeah.
kill him.
There's a fucking house.
Go over to him, retard.
Go blue. It's
I'm
only
going.
50 seconds.
Holy fucking
Fuck.
shit, Blue.
Don't waste your shots. Don't start reloading.
He fired. We can get this. We can get this.
I'm
just
Kill
cooking.
him. Fucking kill
I'm
him.
just
For
waiting. I'm
fuck's
just waiting.
sakes, I just 1v1 to Batman with a broken
One
gun
shot.
as a one shot.
I'm waiting. I have 30 seconds.
Yo, Magenta, go for Artie. Magenta, you go for Artie. You go for Artie.
I have
Blue
7
can get this.
seconds. I'm just gonna kill T1.
Blue, sorry, it doesn't one shot you. You win this. Go on.
Blue, don't back off.
You got him?
Blue,
10
how long
seconds.
do you have in your fucking clip?
He's
Yeah, go, kill.
where is he
Fucking
going?
high.
Do we know where he is?
He's like up here. Actually, no. Don't chase him. Don't chase him.
Yeah.
They're on attack. All you have to do is hide and wait it out.
This
So obviously tempers are
flaring.
flaring for High right now, and they are about to get a win, which
I mean, that specific round with a tank down, you would have never guessed.
okay, think about this. I didn't see the social media polls beforehand, but I would guess that this is like 90% or better in favor of Eclipse, if not 100%.
Sure. Overall, the series.
I just assume, and
Yeah.
people can disagree with me, but I'm going to assume that overall the series is going to be in favor of Eclipse. And the fact that of all rounds, the round that they're a tank down is the round that they may pick up.
That's, you got to think though. That's also really impressive.
Yeah. Now Dark God Zim,
He is
hunting.
potentially the savior of this this battle for
And-
Eclipse.
Blue needs to roll average or higher to put Dark God Zim down. If he low rolls, Dark God Zim will get 2 seconds to get that final shot off. Now, Dark God Zim doesn't have a lot of time to work with. He has only 4 minutes, so he has plenty of time to solo cap.
And like Hai so plainly put it, they're on attacking. So he's the one that has to either put it on cap or he needs to take out the tank of Blue Mini. Blue Mini can just chill until he sees any sort of cap pressure. There's no reason for him to push the envelope here.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dark God Zim's just checking all of the possible spots that you would hide a tank because he knows exactly what's going on. And this is the benefit to bringing this Lorraine is it's a quick arty, so he can get around and he should be able to clear all the spots pretty quickly.
All right, so actually an update. You were completely wrong. I was actually with you. It's 54, only 54% in favor of Eclipse.
Wow. not what I would have guessed at all.
I'm right there with you.
And the other thing to note is High, regardless of whether or not they win this, they will break their previous record of 24 minutes versus Eclipse. Says they're already at 21 minutes, still with more to play in this game. So
you can stop that now.
Yeah, I'll stop the stopwatch, and they're about to pick up a win.
Unless Dark God Zim can be the hero that Eclipse needs and not the one they deserve.
He needs some sort of insane snapshot. Just predict the way that blue comes.
The problem with that luring too is it's not a rotating turret, so he's very fixed in the position of which he can fire.
Yeah, the gun arc on that thing, or traverse anyways, is not the greatest. So he's kind of predicting, he's setting up for either the F line or the north is his gut there, and he's eliminating all the other options. And if blue happens to come from the south, then he's done. So, but that's what you have to do in that.
But he's going towards the F line.
And I almost feel bad if you listening to the team speak from High previously. If they throw this round right now,
I think that's all of their momentum or anything that they had going.
Part of me wants to hear it, and the other part of me wants to really call HR or something. And the blind fire covered in there towards Dark God Zim, towards all the obvious bushes.
Oh, but slowly closing in though on the right.
And he's going to drop his clip. Now here's the thing. Dropping his clip right now is going to take him about 45 seconds to get in there. He's going to have about a 10-second window to find the lights and get. And Dark God Zim better stay on that cap.
Why would he drop his clip though? He only fired 3 shots?
He fired 4. And he was already, I believe, 1 shot down, so he dropped the last one.
Okay, I didn't see that. I thought maybe he still had 2 or 3 shots.
Well, because here's the thing. He only had 1 shot left, so he didn't want to risk that he lows roll or has to go for a ramp, because a ramp could kill them both.
Oh, you're right.
We can see a draw. If they kill each other, we can see a draw. It is possible. It's only happened once, to my knowledge, in EU, but it is possible. And
Dark God Zim is actually somewhat pointed towards Blue Mini here. Oh, man. James, 10 seconds left. They're both lit.
He misses. He gets the reset. Now, does he play it safe? Now, Dark God Zim, because he's not going for the kill, Dark God Zim can chase. He has 40 seconds.
Oh, and he is.
To go get him.
He is.
He's going to come over. He's going to get 1 shot at this. He can't let him get away.
Oh, but Blue Mini!
Oh, he thought he had an extra second.
The fadeaway.
And the other thing I want to say is, you got to remember, Dark God Zim is not from the U.S. He's playing from Europe.
He didn't even get a shot off, though, did he?
No. So the ping delay there also probably stacked in a little bit to why he didn't get a fire that last shot. So you got to remember, Dark God Zim formerly played for a bunch of EU teams, including, I believe, I want to say it was School Bus, and then he came over and started playing in NA with the guys that joined Elevate.
That is literally, if you would have asked me 100 different times who was going to win that, or in that scenario, or 100 different people, I can almost guarantee you that High was not favored there. In that one specific battle, just the way that everything was set up.
Just think about this, guys. With 6 tanks, 2 of them being tier 9s.
High wins. That's just what it is.
Now I have to question, what is that going to do to Eclipse? Because that is demoralizing.
Honestly, sure it is. I don't think it's really going to affect them. I think they'll probably clean up the series and still go 5-1, 5-2. But still, I mean...
If the tilt starts to creep in...
But see, I understand what you're saying.
Things have happened.
That's true. I just don't see it. I don't see it here. I think Eclipse is going to do just fine. Although they did literally just throw that one away.
Yeah, and it's actually going to be 1-2 in favor of Eclipse right now. Looking at the damage, both the grills coming out top of their team. However, Fulcra is doing 4,200, and T1 Diabetic only able to do 2,900. So no one really able to get in there for Eclipse. And you know, looking at it, more Dark God Zim and Ocmaxis. Dark God Zim wasn't able to connect. And then that 14th slot should belong to Rude Awakening. However, he wasn't loaded in and missed out on that game.
They still won, though. That's crazy. That is crazy.
One round, not only a tank down, but with 2 tier 9s. So when you have a tank down, you can opt to bring... That last slot could have been a tier 8, and you can bring 6 tier 10s, essentially. You're still a tank down, but you have all tier 10s. And they did that with 2 tier 9s. Now, obviously, they had no way of knowing that Rude was going to not load in or ready up in time. And so they managed to salvage a bad situation in a match that no one, at least I didn't see them getting anything in.
Again, you could have asked 100 different people, and I guarantee you they all would have given that specific battle to eClipse.
Yep, and looking at the lineups here, High bringing 2 T57s, 3 Batchats, a Grill, and an M4043. Meanwhile, eClipse coming in here with an IS-7, an E5, 4 Batchats, and a 1390. So you really have to feel that this is eClipse's game to lose, essentially, at this point. Now it is High that have to attack.
I'm really surprised that it's actually 54% only in favor of eClipse.
Now here's the question. Did they customize that, change that strat up because they were tank down and alter from their normal strat, knowing that they were going to be a tank down that round? Or did they just run it the same strat and having another tank on the field would have worked out in their favor? Because sometimes having in those situations,
maybe they played better
players,
because of that. I don't know.
It could happen, or they do that. They had to play even better, and so they were super focused. You could obviously hear the tempers were high.
Oh yeah,
in that TeamSpeak. Not entirely sure that.
I really do love when we listen in on TeamSpeak, though. I think it's great. It's not only can sometimes it be amusing, but honestly, if you're trying to learn, how these teams operate, it's a great way to really listen in. And like you said, we've seen different things from different teams. We saw the stone cold, very composed Apex. We've also seen a very chaotic eClipse.
What I will say is if you're trying to see what a top team does as far as their communications and how they work together, let's not use High as an example.
Hey, you know what?
However, they got the win.
Sure.
Looking at their season record, though, it would have to indicate that that's not normally working for them.
Mm-hmm.
And High are going to start some cap pressure.
Yep, starting off really early, and they are going for that one cap.
And the push is actually coming out of eClipse here. They're pushing up
coming from the south
through the 7-8 line. Ox is just holding on that south corner at G4, so he can support the Batchat over on the 1 line. It's actually going to be Master People all the way over there.
And Rude Awakening has been lit, which means that they do have vision of him on the map, as well as in front of them on their actual tank cameras. He's somewhat avoided being taken out completely, but still finds himself in a bad position here to deal with this overmatch.
Stacking the cap right now. And the one reset does come in on the Blue Mini. However, there are a lot of tanks on cap for High, and they are forcing eClipse to respond.
Dark God's Him is going to clean up Rude Awakening there, and now they need to focus their pressure onto that 1 cap around the 1-2 line.
And they're actually going to catch Master Pupil out.
Oh, but Ali the Persian dude has taken so much damage. In fact, he's going to go down to T1 Diabetic in that Batchat. Feel my potato, though. He's going to pick up Master Pupil. He paid for it, though, James. Ox Mathis now finds himself setting off against Blue Mini. He does have a teammate coming in for that overmatch. It's going to be Vetro. Meanwhile, Vetro is going to take a lot of damage coming in just to support. In fact, Vetro might just go down here. He's going to back off. Beyond that, definitely he's actually going to get away, and Fulcris has been found. Dark God's Him, probably one of the easiest kills of his life. Could have cleaned that one up.
And now just 3 tanks left alive for High.
It's just up to eClipse to clean this one up. Not any sort of round or anything close to the round we just saw, or the battle we just saw.
If only High could play like they just did more often, then
they'd probably be one of the most dominating teams right now in the league.
However, trends hold true. That round goes in favor of eClipse, and it is now 3-1 going into our 3rd map, which up next is going to be Himmelsdorf.
Either way I see it, it's High doing much better than they did the last time these two teams played.
Now, another thing to keep an eye on here. eClipse haven't really, to my knowledge, I'm trying to remember, was it eClipse? Was it eClipse that have been... Yeah, it was eClipse, because we were talking to Master People about it. eClipse haven't really liked Himmelsdorf, and they haven't really practiced it a whole lot. and that's been one of the maps that they really don't feel necessarily that comfortable playing.
Okay.
And so the fact that it ended up here, now we did see them play it against Apex, and they did get a result on it. However, the match before, they actually lost 2 rounds to CD on Himmelsdorf. So we'll have to see how they do against High.
I mean, look at this damage just for that one battle alone. It's the top 5 slots all going to eClipse, and it's going to be Mort, Ox, Tigers, T1 Diabetic, and Master Buell. Metro actually took a lot of damage coming in over that Defilade to try to get a kill, which is why he's sitting there at 8th in that bat shot. But overall, I mean, this is where we find the rest of High. Rude Awakening got caught out really in a bad position, and he got overmatched and taken out very quickly. So not the greatest of follow-up rounds after you've won one against eClipse there for High.
Yeah, so
especially after being down a tank and still coming up.
Yeah, so you think High would feel good after that round, being a tank down. They'd be like, wow, we just beat eClipse a tank down. We can do this. And I guarantee you, out of the people from High, we'll never hear the end of that round anytime eClipse.
Is it Ali?
Yeah, Ali, and anytime
Classic
any of
Ali.
them, anytime any of them throw anything up towards High, High's just gonna be like, tank down. That's all they have to say. Just tank down. But I digress. We'll be on to Himmelsdorf here in a moment. This is a map where High, if there was a chance for them in this series that I had to give them beforehand, I would have given it to them on this map. So kind of interesting.
I would have to agree to you. Well, let's just go right to it.
Himmelsdorf, a small city map. The teams start the battle in opposite corners. Both bases are located close to each other, but in a way that you can't stay on the defensive all the time. The main attack routes pass through the hill, the alley and the railroad, but in general, the attack can be successfully executed through any part of the map. Heavy tanks and tank destroyers with powerful guns run the show here. However, a lot depends on the mobile light tanks.
So going over the lineups here, High bringing 2 113s, 250Bs, an E5, a Batshot, and a 1390. Meanwhile, eClipse, a 50B. Is that a... Nope, it is 250Bs, a 113, a 215B, an E3, a 183, and a 1390. So, looking at the lineups here, eClipse seem to be going with a pretty standard defense. I expect to see Mort in that E3 go somewhere towards the north cap. 1A3 most likely lurking for a shot on the cross. And it looks like High are going to push everything up the hill, and we will see some sort of hill play out of them.
And eClipse actually is going to be taking more of a southern defense here. And this is actually something that's normal, I would say, for eClipse. We usually see eClipse take very early control of that southern position down by that 1 cap, and then from there they move back up. But this is a very Eclipse-y type thing to do on this map.
Yeah, and so far this season they've only played it twice. Once was to CD and they lost both rounds on it.
And this is exactly what they did against them, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, and then they did, I believe, either pick up both rounds or 1 round on Himmelsdorf against Apex. So the map that they traditionally haven't been good on, they're able to get some results. So we'll have to see what they have in store, and it looks like High are just going to go for a hard north cap. Now, something to keep in note, for those that have been paying attention to the patch notes that were just announced last week, there are going to be some changes to the spotting mechanics that will allow tanks to be spotted sooner. And so we'll see that. And the problem with that is on a cross like Himmelsdorf right here, it's going to become a lot less viable because you're going to get spotted before you go all the way around the corner. So Folker is able to poke out there, see if he got spotted, and back off before Mort was able to fire. In the future, it's not something I would expect to see. They will take shots when they cross. However, they did bait the shot out of Mort there, so they will get across scot-free. However, the spotting mechanics will see some changes, especially the strats in the Gold League. And High are just taking their time setting up into a north cap. They have left Romstar in that Batchat up on the hill, along with Ali, the Persian dude.
Yep, looks like it's going to be Blue Mini, Rude Awakening, and Magenta Panda here that are going to be going down that A-line and look for some cap pressure onto the very back end of the 2 cap. Right there at about Alpha 6. Now, something that we normally see is it's usually B, the corner of B6 or A6 or even A7, if you will, where we see any sort of cap pressure being mounted from either one of these teams on this map.
Yep, and Rude is actually sitting there trying to bait the shots out of Ox Mathis. So he's sitting there just side scraping the 113. A decent side scraping tank, not the best, but can get the job done as long as you're careful. And Ox will actually just bounce his shot off there, and I get why he took that shot. You would have thought that he would have been looking for some sort of HE reset onto that 113. Now, the thing is if that E3 can land a shot.
Oh, nice shot over the hill there from Romstar, finding Vetro. Oh, but Dark God Zim is right behind, as is Tigers. Romstar is going to notice, but he only noticed Dark God Zim. If he pushes in, Tigers is right there to receive, and there it is.
Great little bait there out of the two of them. Dark God Zim just acting like he's running away.
That was great team play. Really great team play, and that's a tank that was really great team play.
It was a great little bait, assuming that the 1390 was alone. Romstar got a little bit ahead of himself, pushed around, and as you said, the 50B was sitting there letting trap, and now they have control of the hill, and it's just Ali the Persian dude left up there by himself now.
He is going to find a shot onto Tigers, and now he has shifted his focus onto Dark God Zim, and he's actually going to take him out. The problem is now he has to deal with... He's got to deal with that 50B. Still 2 shots in the clip. This is happening off screen, of course, but Ali the Persian dude looks like he's going to make away, and Tigers very low. Tigers could potentially go down here as soon as Ali the Persian dude is loaded up.
Tigers will be loaded first, however. Tigers... Or Ali's going to be loaded
Ali's
first.
Going to be loaded
Tigers
first.
Is going to get out of there, though.
This is the problem I see, though, that is technically a tank leading Ali the Persian dude away from where the main fight is going to be happening.
Meanwhile, T1 Diabetic in that 183 just said, get off of my cap circle, blue, and put a shell right through his lower plate and took him out of the game.
Nice crossfire here coming on from Vetro as he sees those tanks. The field might be taken on focus right across. And Mort actually going to finish out Fulcris. This is looking like it's going to be very much in favor of Team eClipse.
It's just a simple overmatch at this point. These two 15Bs and the 183 pushing in here. They will pick up Rude Awakening. Magenta Panda will fall regardless of what happens on the other part of the field. All these tanks are relatively full HP, and they should be able to clean up Magenta Panda here pretty soon.
Yep, and then next to fall is most likely going to be Ali the Persian dude. In fact, he might fall first before Magenta Panda goes down, and there it is. Magenta Panda next. Field One Potato, the last tank surviving, as we now head into the second part of this battle on this map, and it's going to be eClipse on offense. How do you feel about that? eClipse on offense.
I think they will do a bit better than High just did. That being said, High's defense, or eClipse's defense, wow, English words. eClipse's attack on Himmelsdorf, I've only seen it, well, I've seen it twice. And the first time versus CD, it didn't work. They went with a very standard North Cap. They didn't do anything spectacular, and the response out of CD was very, very consistent. They found a very quick overmatch in the south. They pushed around, and eClipse got caught with their pants down. However, versus Apex, they did a very good job baiting them back into their guns, and Apex's response was definitely a bit scattered, and it allowed eClipse to get into the fight. So I do have to like their chances on this next round, which could end the series 5-1. And looking at the damages here, Tigers putting up 2,700, Mort coming in at 2,500, and Ox coming in at 2,300.
Uh-huh. And Ali the Persian dude, who dealt with that flanking that we saw from Dark God Zim, he was actually able to put out 2,300 damage, but from there it falls off, and Magenta Panda is sub 2k, and then there is the rest of Team High.
And both the 113s not really able to do a whole lot. However, or 1390s, excuse me. But look at that. Dark God Zim got a kill with only 160 damage. He was the one that picked up the final shot onto Romstar there. But 1390 is not really able to get involved. However, once again, Blue Mini was cap pressure. Dark God Zim had that great play though.
It was Vetro. I'm pretty sure it was Vetro.
No, it was Tigers and Dark God Zim.
Was it Tigers?
Yeah, it was Tigers. He pushed up there in that 50B by himself.
Oh, you're right.
And he, they caught out Romstar, so it was a great little bait and switch.
What was funny too is I noticed that and I was like, well, isn't Tigers going to move up with him so they can get the overmatch? And then no, in fact, it was him.
Here's the thing: is they don't know what's up on that hill. They only know that Batchat's most likely up there. They haven't seen anything else for a while, so they don't want to commit both Tigers and the 1390 of Dark God Zim up there without knowing exactly where the tanks are, because of the offense High was running and keeping a lot of their tanks very close to the vest. They didn't know that both the 50Bs could have been up there still.
Sure,
there could have been more tanks still up there.
And Ali wasn't too far away.
Yeah, and they could have had more guns up there. So I like it. They were they only risked the 1390. He went up there once they realized it was just the Batchat. And the Batchat was chasing off on him. He ran towards Tigers, and Tigers was sitting there with a full clip, just ready to end Romstar. So great team play.
And Romstar he did.
Yep, and looking at the lineups here, High coming in with a 215B, or two 250Bs, excuse me, an IS-4, two 50Bs, an E3, and a 1390. Meanwhile, eClipse, two 113s, two 50Bs, a Grill, a Batchat, and an AMX 1390 of their own. And Blue Mini is just going to push straight down the one line. And we're actually going to see a rather interesting defense here out of High. They're going to leave both their 50Bs in that C6 cubby. Hopefully Eclipse have learned
I don't think I've seen this
from Apex's previous endeavors. And a very standard south play coming out of Eclipse, just looking for any sort of bizarre push coming out of High. Just Dark God Zim up on that hill with that E3, or with the Grill 15, excuse me. That Grill, decent tank to have up there. I prefer something with a bit more weight, like a 263 or an E3. Has a little bit more armor, more survivability. However, if you can let that Grill get up there and not be shot at a whole lot, it can pump out a lot of damage. And Tigers is actually going to push up in the middle there. Now here's the thing, is Tigers going to get caught out? They haven't spotted these guys yet, and they're sitting here waiting for someone to try to cross that courtyard. They're not even waiting for them to commit. They're just sitting here holding this perfect echelon, looking for Tigers to commit. He hasn't spotted any of them. He doesn't know they're there. They just don't know where their tanks are, and they know that they aren't challenging the hill, and they're not pushed out anywhere. So this spot's been used a lot lately, and so Tigers is being a little bit apprehensive.
I mean, can you blame him? Look what's ahead of him.
Well, once again, he doesn't know that.
He doesn't know, sure. But
No.
Vetro and Master Pupil are going to move in together. And are they close enough to procs?
Just barely not.
Oh, man. Because that would be huge.
Yeah, you'd think we would have seen something along those lines used by now if that was the case. And if they were looking for that proc spot, I guarantee you Vetro would be all the way up on the rubble there trying to see if he can get within that range, because that's not something I have seen before. However, Eclipse, very wisely, are going to back off and just go to try to get some cap pressure here. However, that IS-4 sitting in that corner is going to be extremely hard to dig out. He can just sit there, set up to reverse side scrape. It's going to take a lot of HE to get him out of there. 10 HP at a time, if necessary, apparently, according to Eclipse.
Hey, damage is damage, right?
Yep, one shot actually misses. And that Grill 15 is actually just waiting for Ali just to stick his track out at the wrong angle.
He might? I don't know.
Now most of the tanks are moving towards the south, and now this trap could get sprung right now.
Oh no, Master Pupil and
they
Vetro
will
are
spot
going
him.
in
Now
there.
can
Oh, back up,
They need to track him before they get out of there. They will get Master Pupil. They track him once, but he does get out of there.
Oh my goodness.
Now they need to not overextend. They need to back off. That's a good trade. Magenta Panda is going to be sitting here ready to punish this line. That's a great opening play out of High. Now they need to not overextend on top of this.
Oxstar looking for shots onto Magenta Panda. He's going to decide to just back off and look at how much damage has been done to Master Pupil. Not only damage, but I believe he also has a damaged ammo rack.
Now these tanks from High need to realize they need to move towards the north because their IS-4 is exposed a little bit. However, it doesn't look like they're going to push straight after him. They're going to go back to their original plan and try to find some cap pressure since that play didn't work out for them.
No. Not at all. High in a very good position right now to dictate the pace of this battle. And the clock is ticking down. Only about 5 minutes and 45 seconds left here for eClipse to make some sort of move happen.
Yeah, and they're down by about 3,000 HP, or 2,000 anyways, so they need to, oh, no, it is 3,000 HP. So they need to find some sort of a solution, and so far they haven't found it, and all they've done is pretty much thrown away Master Pupil in the process.
Unintentionally, of course.
Yeah, but the other thing to note is Master Pupil actually has a damaged ammo rack right now, so his reload's going to be over a minute long. Which makes you ask the question, why is he sitting on 2 shells right now? Why not drop it and
that's a good
try to be loaded
indeed.
before any play happens? Because at this point, High, I don't think are going to try to do anything. And as I say that, they actually mass up and are starting to move out down the 5 line.
And I gotta say, this really is actually High's battle to lose here.
Well, High are actually looking like they want to push in. Now, Magenta Panda needs to come around in the south and open up that courtyard because Rot Tigers can just get out of there for scot-free right now.
And Romstar is going to finish off Ox Mathis. Master Pupil is still 1 shot away from being taken out. Romstar taking quite a bit of damage here. Feel My Potato is going to come around and need a shell. But still, High find themselves in a very advantageous situation. And Dark God Zim, meanwhile, is taking out Romstar.
They will get down.
And Feel My Potato will be taken out by Mort.
Earlier, during our first matchup, I was criticizing stagnant defenses, sitting still too long, giving their team time to work. What High just did is exactly what I was just preaching that teams should do more often, and that is,
and it was well
you
executed.
can set up a good trap. You can stay stagnant for a little bit, but once the other team knows where you are, you don't want to sit in the same positions for too long, and instead, they could have just simply backed out and repositioned. But I am totally fine with them saying, all right, we have the advantage. We're in a good position to attack these guys. Let's go for it. And to have that confidence to take that brawl is exactly what they just did, and they will come out on top of this.
This was very impressive play here by eClipse. Or excuse me, by High on eClipse.
Yeah, Mort should go down in a moment. Oh, he's going to get out of there. He's going to drop his clip and run. It would be quite a feat if him and T1 could clean this up. Or he takes 1 shot.
But that shot is not helping his case.
Yep, and now High are actually kind of in a really awkward situation because they're stuck between 2 guns. So they need to pick one direction or split their tanks and go. With a Batchat still on the field and a lot of these tanks are low HP for High, I would hesitate to send tanks off, even in pairs though.
Oh, those shots really connecting. Finally, one does penetrate. But Rude Awakening is the one that ate the shell for that push to happen. And now we are going to see T1 Diabetic try to get away. That E3, not the fastest tank at all, isn't actually going to catch him before he gets up and over that hill. This is still doable for eClipse. Never mind. It just went from doable to impossible.
Essentially, and it would have been quite a task even with Mort still being alive. However, T1 Diabetic is
well, I mean, you could argue if they took out Magenta Panda, they could have done it, but you still have Fulcrus and an E3 full HP.
All right, I don't want to suggest the impossible, but let's take a look at this for a second. It's 4-1. Mm-hmm. This round's going to go in favor of High. Mm-hmm. Our next map is Cliff. Mm-hmm. Let that seep in for a second.
I'm letting it seep in.
Cliff being one of those maps that's kind of unpredictable in terms of just it comes down to how teams set up and the initial play, the initial opening play can decide that match. Depending on what High do and the amount of confidence they have going into it, this could still end up in overtime. Now, I still have to favor eClipse to pick up 1 of 2 rounds on Cliff. However, if there was a round for someone to lose multiple rounds on, especially like eClipse, it would be to some just pure aggression strats out of High and just overwhelming eClipse. I've seen it happen. Not necessarily eClipse being overwhelmed, but just teams in general. Cliff is one of those maps that just tends to be more even between attack and defense. And Rude Awakening is going to only roll for 422. but he does have the
There
follow-up
it is.
shot to take down T1 Diabetic. T1 Diabetic, knowing he needed to make a play, he can no longer cap out, so he just had to try to kill everything, which was never going to happen, but you got to try.
Yeah.
So, like I was saying, though, we're going on to Cliff. Just depending upon just how the team's set up, their opening play, and their brawl coordination, it's kind of the only thing that really separates a lot of teams on these maps. Now, teams have been playing it more slowly lately. Like we saw earlier, we saw two very passive defenses. And then that comes down to a team's calling ability and their overall team play and how they can set up to deal with that. If both these teams just go head-to-head, though, and just go for the brawls, it's anyone's game.
That's true. You can't really favor any one team. Both of them have the power to win those brawls. Now, I do want to mention this real quick, off topic, as far as these two teams, our offline broadcast match, which is Rival versus 07, is actually 4-3 in favor of Rival.
Well, that would be a big 3 points for Rival. They're still in last place, technically. However, this would be
So put them
huge
at 15,
points.
which would put them over all of the current teams, although some of them are playing, such as I. But
and 07 are only sitting on, I believe, 13 points right now. So that would be pretty big for Rival.
Absolutely. That would be big for Rival indeed. Oh, we'll have to see. Back to eClipse versus High, though. We see Vetro and T1 Diabetic doing the most damage for their team, respectively. But Magenta Panda, Rude Awakening, and Ali the Persian Dude really sealing the deal, especially with that that nice little play we saw from Romstar and Feel My Potato, those 250Bs right there with the trap sprung onto Master Pupil, who got almost annihilated in a matter of 1 to 2 shots per clip, plus the help from the other tank they had there. I believe it was I don't remember what it was actually. They had set up here. Hold on a second.
And look at that 2-10-3 of Fulcrus. Despite them winning that round, firing 4 shots, getting 1 kill,
that's
but only
also
86
throwing me off
damage
right now.
done. So that's a little bit odd out of Fulcrus there. So he's had some big misses recently, but firing 4 for 86 damage and a T1-10-3, that's kind of interesting.
I mean, it is a tank destroyer.
I mean, he got a kill, so he did destroy a
Technically,
tank.
yeah.
However, 86 damage out of a gun does 750 alpha. That's... I don't want to say he did poorly, but I expect better out of him.
Right.
Definitely expect more.
Well, it's all going to be down to this very next map between High and eClipse. Let's go right to it.
Cliff, the most dynamic map in the league. Battles on Cliff always turn into desperate double-edged fights. Teams start from the same spots as they do in standard battles. The first base is located near the defender's spawn point, and the second is at the bottom of the hill. Sometimes teams split their forces and send several tanks through the 1-2 line to the left of the small hill, but usually both teams play at the center. The attacking team can send one of the tanks up to the lighthouse or behind it. Fast and quick-firing vehicles are better suited for this map, mainly medium tanks, including tanks equipped with autoloaders.
And neither of these teams showing that they are going to shy away from a brawl. High coming with 2 TVPs, 3 Batchets, and 2 Tier 9 Batchets. Meanwhile, Eclipse, 3 TVPs, 3 Batchets, and a RU-251.
Okay.
This could get crazy.
I honestly don't know what to expect because, again, we've seen this map be absolutely nuts, and then we've seen it recently just be really slow. Like, really, between all the teams, regardless of whether or not they're bringing these batch shots or not, because most of them are still bringing the autoloaders, but it's still just been a very slow pace for Cliff.
I'm just hoping for a brawl. That is honestly what I want to see right now.
I mean, sure, that's what I want to see. This is why I loved Cliff in the first place.
Yep.
Will we see that brawl, though?
And it looks like they're going to set up with a pretty, not necessarily passive defense, but they're taking the long way around. However, they are bringing those TPs right towards the middle ridge, and it's actually...
Oh, it looks like a brawl is
and
exactly what we're going to see. Damage coming on to Ali the Persian Dude. Tigers is also taking shots. He's going to go down. Ali the Persian Dude going to get traded out by Tiger. Rude Awakening very low, and there it is. Oxmath is going to take him down. Blue Mini, meanwhile, cleans up Dark God Zim as Feel My Potato has been taking some damage for the trade.
I wanted to see a brawl, and I got one. Meanwhile, High coming in here with these 2 Tier 9 bats
Lords.
who have most of their
You are
shots
crazy. Crazy dead. There's no way Mort makes it out of that. Master Pupil, though, meanwhile, the other overmatch. But wait, Magenta Panda, that was huge, taking out T1 Diabetic as Vetro trades him out.
Back and forth stuff. The gun lead is in favor of eClipse right now, though.
Tigers is one shot away from being taken out of the battle, though, but with that might have actually sealed it as Romstar goes down and eClipse just dominate over high on Cliff.
Well, I was just sitting here saying I want to see a Braum.
Wow.
Gotta see one.
So although eClipse weren't able to beat their record of 24 minutes on high,